Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Falcons Central Radio Show on the Pro Football Central Radio Network. I'm Aaron Freeman, founder of FalFans.com, joined by my co-host Scott Karasik, who writes about the Falcons for Pro Football Spot. This week we have with us none other than ATL Sports Nate Butler, who contributes to the Falcoholic as well as his new blog, DBN Fanatics. You can find that at dbnfanatics.blogspot.com. And this week we're going to be talking about rosters involving the Atlanta Falcons. We're talking about Julio Jones' new contract. We're talking about the roster cut down to 75 players. We'll be talking a little bit about some of the injury updates we got today in practice. We'll also be reviewing the Falcons-Dolphins game from Week 3 in the preseason. And as usual, we'll be answering all your mailbag questions at the end of the show. So let's get things started. By talking about Julio Jones' deal last week on this show. Scott and I basically were saying, well, we don't know when the deal's going to get done. Maybe it'll get done at the beginning of 2016, but it eventually will get done. It eventually got done at about 4 days after we did our show. So the terms of that deal are a 5-year contract, $71.5 million with 47.5, if I'm not mistaken, million guaranteed. So I guess the big question is, are you okay with this amount of money? This, makes him the second highest paid wide receiver in the NFL.
I'm perfectly okay with it. I think it's exactly what his value is, and it's going to be very tough to find someone to say that it wasn't worth it. It's just a little bit more than what Dez got paid. It's just a little bit more than what Demaryius Thomas got paid. His market got set, and they said, you know what, here's an extra $1.5 million. Here's an extra $2 million guaranteed. We want to keep you for 5 years on top of the 1 year we've already got you for a super discounted price.
Nate, how do you feel about Julio's contract?
He's muted. This isn't working.
Can you unmute him?
I'm trying. Uh-oh. I think you hit the button on accident. Nate, check top left. All right, we're having some technical difficulties here. We will, oh, there he is.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I definitely love the Julio deal. I actually thought he was going to get a little bit more than he got, to be honest with you. But that's a great deal. We got him locked up for 5 more years, and I actually thought the deal would be done by the end of training camp. Similar to how Matt Ryan's deal was done 2 years ago. It's just good to have him out of the way because most of the fans, we all seen it on Twitter. Everyone was crying, when he's going to get the deal done? When he's going to get the deal done? But, it's a very great deal. That's a great deal that Julio has. I'm just glad to have him back.
Yeah, he'll be a Falcon. So, guys, let's move on to the roster moves. The Falcons cut down the roster to 75 players officially today. A bunch of guys got cut that were undrafted free agents that I don't think anybody was shocked to see them get cut. But I guess the two big moves were that the Falcons finally cut ties with Peter Kahn, reaching an injury settlement with him today, and they put Lamar Holmes on the PUP list. So basically that means he'll miss at least the first 6 weeks of the season, and potentially the entire season if the next little injury is rough. But I guess looking at the other guys and commenting on Holmes, any of those moves sort of stand out to you guys?
I thought Ume Ezekiel was going to have a shot at beating out Stone just because I think he's a better football player. But none of these really said, this is a guy we need to keep.
Nate, what are your thoughts about that?
To be honest with you, I'm really not surprised with any of the cuts. I think all of them are pretty normal, to be honest with you. I don't think any cut that was made was surprised. Because it's kind of hard to determine in those first set of cuts. I guess we have to see what happens this weekend before I can finally say, okay, if a cut went well or not.
Okay. Well, bye-bye, Peter Cons. Wish it had happened a year ago, you know.
It's a shame how his career went because he was my top-rated center that year. But I'm kind of glad that they don't have him anymore. So
He was a good player in college, and you know, I think he's one of those players that he didn't have any pre-draft workouts, and I think had he been healthy enough to go to the combine or do a pro day, then maybe some of the red flags that we sort of saw later in his career, where his athleticism was a little iffy, his strength was a little iffy, maybe some of those red flags would have been known to us before the draft, but it doesn't change the fact that he was a very good player at Wisconsin. And it's unfortunate he didn't work out, but, you know, that happens in the NFL. You know, you look at, there's several first-round offensive linemen that really haven't been successful players in the NFL. A lot of them can't miss sort of prospects, top 5 picks. You know, I'm thinking of guys like Jason Smith, Jonathan Cooper might be coming on this year, but he has not had a good start to his career. You look at guys like Chance Warmack. Warmack's not a bad player, but he hasn't exactly been this dominant offensive lineman. And so it's just one of those things where Peter Cons, there's no real rhyme or reason to it. It didn't work out for the Falcons. And, you know, hopefully whatever endeavors he has from this point on, whether it's with another team or post-football, works out better for him. But ain't going to, you know, lose over sleep over losing Peter Cons.
he'll lose a lot of sleep though.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Let's talk about some of these injuries that just kind of sprung up on us today. A couple of guys got nicked up in that Dolphins game. The Falcons basically, the big news, I guess, emerging from today was that Brooks Reed, the Falcons linebacker, is looking for a second opinion on his growing injury, which sounds like basically he's trying to find a doctor that will tell him he doesn't need to have surgery, which, you know, depending on what type of surgery and what it is, it potentially could be season-ending, or it could be something that's like Arian Foster's surgery, which is going to keep him out for half the season or something like that. But regardless, it does not look good that Brooks Reed is going to be able to play this entire season in Atlanta. And just curious what you guys think on that. How big a loss is he, and what do you see currently on the roster that can really affect him?
I mean, it sucks to lose a starting linebacker for however long you're going to lose him. But I feel like they've got the talent behind him to be okay. They've got O'Brien Schofield, they've got Corey Bierman. As much as we hate Corey Bierman, he is a better fit for the strong side linebacker than he was a defensive end.
Okay. I don't necessarily want to see Corey Bierman playing linebacker again. I'm good on that. I've seen enough of that I can. Yeah. Nate, what's your thoughts on this whole Brooks Reed situation?
Oh man, it absolutely sucks because this was the guy that I thought was going to be our starting linebacker, and losing him for any portion of the season is going to hurt us. I agree with Scott, although I don't like Corey Bierman. I'm sure you've seen it many times. I've complained about him on Twitter. I think he's probably our best fit at the moment to play that position. So I guess we have to just see what happens with this linebacking core, because, you know, that was one of the biggest questions we all had going into the season, was our linebacking core and how would they perform under the Quinn scheme. So I guess we just got to really wait and see what this team like, especially when they hit the field for the regular season, especially now without Brooks Reed.
So I heard the things today, people saying that he's a free agent bust. Do you feel like that's a fair statement on, you know, a guy before his first game?
Not at all, man. A free agent bust is someone who takes all your money and doesn't do a damn thing for your team. Example, Ray Edwards. That is a free agent bust.
Okay. So you guys think this helps a guy like Tyler Starr make the final roster? He was kind of on the bubble, but given if Reed is going to be out for a long time, that's going to open up a potential backup role. And so what do you guys think about that?
I already had Tyler Starr making the roster over Green.
What about you, Nate?
I actually was impressed with Tyler Starr in the previous 2 games, so I actually think he's going to make the roster regardless of his injury. So I do think that actually gives him a better shot at linebacker. So I guess that's another we'll see as far as Tyler Starr. But I really think he was going to make the team regardless because he showed a lot of flashes, especially the second half of the Dolphins game.
Okay. Another injury update, Jake Matthews is not going to play on Thursday's game against the Ravens. He's got a back strain. You guys, feel like this is an area of concern given how big injuries play into some of Jake's struggles as a rookie? And do you think the Falcons should basically go out and get somebody like Jake Long or another tackle that can sort of immediately be plugged into the lineup, given the possibility that Tyler Columbus is starting games if Jake Matthews is injured?
I mean, I think the back strain, just keeping him out of this week because it's a very short turnaround. I think he'll be fine if we get about a week and a half off before playing the game.
Okay. Nate, where is your level of concern for Jake Matthews' recent injuries?
I have to agree with Scott. I believe he's going to be fine for week 1 as well. This is really one of those injuries where we don't really know much about it. I think he may need that 4th game off just to get ready for the Philadelphia game because it's hard to really determine what he's staying at because I know he played week 3. So I think he should be fine before the Eagles game. I want to see the extent of the injury before I can actually jump the gun and say what we should do. So I think he should be all right regardless, though.
Okay. So Devontae's not going to play against the Ravens. So you guys, are you worried at all about Devontae not getting any preseason action, or you think it's whatever? We know what Devontae is. We'll just get him ready for the week 1.
I'm a little worried that he hasn't played the game. Completely new blocking scheme. Don't really know what he's going to do in it. Yeah, I wish he was playing.
What about you, Nate, on Devontae?
Considering how rough the running game has looked this preseason, I really do wish we could have seen a little bit of him. I do think we're going to get a good impact out of him this season, but, we only saw 7 for a couple of snaps. We haven't seen any Devontae, so it's really I think myself included with a lot of fans were really concerned about the running game going into the season, so it is really tough when you don't see Devontae Freeman out there and you barely saw Tevin Coleman because that was the 2 biggest things we were looking forward to this season.
Okay. So we got a couple of other guys that were nicked up in that Dolphins game, and so I guess my question is for these guys, any concern whatsoever? Devin Hester has a turf toe, Justin Durant has a foot injury, Tony Moyaki has an ankle injury, and Jaco Bartu has a quad injury. I know for me personally that turf toe with Devin Hester is a little worrisome just because turf toe is an injury that tends to linger. And obviously Devin Hester is going to be a big part of maybe not our offense this year, but certainly special teams. He can certainly help us out a lot there. So if that injury sort of lingers into the season, that does give me a little bit of concern. But it's a little too early, I guess, to jump the gun.
Hopefully it's the mildest case of torso we've ever seen.
Yeah, I had turf toe a couple of years ago, and it didn't go away for like a year and a half. So, but I'm not Devin Hester. Yeah. Nate, do any of those injuries worry you?
If any word, it's probably Justin Durant because I don't want him to lose any speed from what we saw in preseason. I'm sure all of the fans have been very impressed with what he's brought to our linebacker core. So I really don't want to see any. I really hope it doesn't carry over to the season. But I don't want to really jump the gun because he could be fine week 1. So I guess that's another way to see for me because we really can't determine until we hit the field and play a full game before we can really see how tough these injuries are with our team.
Yep. Okay, guys, let's finally get around to this Dolphin game that nobody really wants to talk about, but we'll talk about it. Scott and I have been doing this show since after the 2013 draft, and over the years we've had to do these game reviews, and we need to try to maintain positivity because a lot of these games have been lost in the last 2 seasons. So we'll do the same thing this week. We'll talk about what were the positives from this Dolphins game to start us off. And I personally thought the defense played really well, but what are your guys' thoughts on some of the positives?
I mean, the defense looked really good. The pass rush looked awesome. Claiborne, Beasley, Schofield, that was fun. Watching Schofield just murder Matt Moore, that was fun.
Nate, what were some of your positives from the Dolphins game?
Yes, I agree. I loved what our defense looked like week 3. I felt like our pass rush, we've been very impressed with our pass rush over the first 2 preseason games. But, just seeing them getting back against the Dolphins was great to see. So, really, I'm looking forward to see what our defense can look like over into the season because this was the number 1 issue we had coming into this year. We're trying to get from the worst ranked defense from last season. So, just to even see us getting a pass rush is a relief within itself.
All right, now we get into the fun stuff. All right. So let's talk about that offensive line, guys.
Should I start with my murdering of James Stone in these comments, or should I start with how awful Tyler Columbus looked, or should I just continue into Mike Person and how he might actually be worse at center than Peter Kahns? I mean, I could go so many ways.
Don't forget Ryan Schrader.
Schrader did look horrible against Wake, but I still blame more of that on the guard play because against Wake, his rookie year, a guard that could actually pass protect was there, and they gave him chips on the edge. If the interior 3 are doing their job and can hold up the defensive tackles, you don't have to use a pass protector running back in there, and you can give him that chip off the edge to hold off that strong side end.
Nick, what were your thoughts on the offensive line play?
Oh my God, it was embarrassing. Mike Person and Jane Stone. I like Jane Stone, but they were destroyed off the line. I don't think like a 2013 offensive line, to be honest with you. And I'm with Scott. I don't know how much of a difference Mike Person is from Peter Kahns. He was awful. Most of the game, we saw the Dolphins' defensive line just have their way, and we know our quarterback, Matt Ryan. When Matt's frustrated, you can tell. He barely had time in the pocket. It's the one thing you don't want to see going into this season because that's one issue that we really haven't had a chance to address because we had so many glaring holes on defense. So it's kind of scary to watch. I hope they have it together week 1 because I'm a little nervous. Can't even lie to you on that.
Okay. I'm not as worried about the offensive line as everybody else is. I know they look terrible with the Dolphins, but I do think part of it is when you don't have your complete offense, when you're not really game planning, and you just kind of just throw guys out there and say, hey, block Ndamukong Suh, and block Cameron Wake, and block Earl Mitchell, and block Olivier Vernon. You know, it's kind of a sink or swim, and they certainly did stink, but I think everybody on the offensive line played poorly. I think it's unfair to sort of single out a couple of guys and say these guys somehow worse than others. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and throw Ryan Trader on the bus, but he was terrible that game. He was the worst player on the field. It wasn't just Cam Wake that was beating him. It was Derek Shelby that was kicking his butt. You know, he wasn't even getting any push in the run game. You know, and that was the bigger concern for me offensively. Pass protection wise, like I don't worry that much. Matt Ryan's not a guy that's going to get sacked. He's going to get the ball out quickly. You put Julio Jones on the field, he's going to be able to get open quickly. So they can sort of work a short passing game if their pass protection issues linger into the season. My bigger issue, I think, in the offensive line play throughout the summer has been how poor the run blocking has been and how important it's going to be with the new Shanahan offense to have some sort of balance in the running game. If you're running the ball and you're losing 7 yards, you know, anytime you're running the ball, that's a horrible way to sort of set up the play action and whatnot. So, you know, with a guy like Schrader in particular, him struggling there, and, you know, Derek Shelby pushing him 4 yards into the backfield on run plays, that was a little bit more concerning. But at the same time, again, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, Ryan Trader is terrible. I'm not going to get more mad at Ryan Trader than I am at Jim Stone, Mike Person, or anybody else. You know, I'm sure that, you know, Dan Quinn is going to be kicking their butts in practice this week and next week. And unlike Mike Smith, when he was challenging our offensive line to play well and they didn't really always respond to that challenge, I'm a little bit more confident that they'll respond to this one under Dan Quinn. And we'll see how it plays out against Philadelphia.
You have more faith than I do.
Well, I think part of it is, like, we don't really know what this team is. Like, it's one thing last, 2 summers ago where the Titans just absolutely obliterated our offensive line. By then, we had 5 years of Mike Smith, and we already knew kind of like, oh no, if this is how good Laura Holmes is going to be, this is how good, Sam Baker's going to be, or whoever the heck was also on that line, we knew that was going to go poorly for the season. I don't think we really know what this team is yet, and until they actually get into some games, I can't get into this sort of, doom and gloom attitude until, now if Philadelphia comes out and beats us by 30 points, then people have the right to freak out. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I think it's all a whole lot of drama for not a whole lot of impact. So you guys got anything else to add on the offensive line or the Dolphins game in general?
No, I'm kind of over the Dolphins game.
I think we all are. All right, so this week against the Ravens, is there anything you guys are looking forward to seeing? I know, me personally, I don't want to see a single starter on the field, especially given all the injuries we had last week. So if Jonathan Babineau plays a snap, I'm going to have to drive down to Atlanta and look out Dan Quinn. So what are you guys looking forward to or not looking forward to this week?
I hope the backup defense is better than it has.
Nate, anything you're looking forward to against the Ravens?
Probably the backup quarterback battle, maybe. That may be the only thing I'm looking forward to. I'm like you, I don't want to see any starters this weekend. I mean, it's on Thursday. But outside of the quarterback battle, probably nothing else. Just want to see which guys are going to batter their butts off to make the 53-man roster. That's probably the main thing to watch. Even though a lot of fans don't like watching Week 4 preseason, I always like watching just to see the guys battle out, to see who really wants those last spots,
Yeah, Sexton, Rex Grossman. That's gonna be exciting. Almost forgot.
I think it's pretty safe to say he's in that spot.
A lot of deep balls to Larry Anderson this week. Anyway, all right, guys, you want to get to these mailbag questions? We got a whole bunch of them. All right, first one comes from our friend Sammy Socialite. What can we expect from Anderson in the regular season?
Probably a good, solid 35 catches, 400 yards, couple touchdowns. Nothing crazy, but a solid, good number 4, number 3 kind of guy.
Okay, Nate, what are your thoughts on Anderson this year?
I think with him being in Shanahan's system, he's going to do pretty well with us. I can't really determine the stats at this moment, but I think early on he's going to make a decent impact, pretty much because he knows Shanahan's system better than majority of the roster right now. And he's shown some signs of he's done pretty well in preseason for me so far. So I think he should be a solid number 3, number 4, like Scott says.
Okay. Yeah, same here. If I was going to throw a number on it, probably 50 catches. I don't know how many yards, 700 yards, and I don't know what the math is on that. 2 or 3 touchdowns. Okay, Evan Birchfield asks, if Dickerson and Hardy come out very strong and Roddy comes out flat, could he go on the trading block?
Roddy on the trading block? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Not a chance.
Well, it's unanimous. Yeah, Roddy's not going to get traded. Like, I think if the Falcons decide to move on to Roddy, it will be after this season, but it's not going to happen this season. All right, Lee at LMFCATL. This is in reference to Butcher's second opinion. Lee says, I'm wary of not going to the surgery straight off the bat. Is this the curse of Croy?
There is no curse of Croy. Croy's still on the roster. And he still sucks. But that's regardless of the point. There is no curse.
Okay. Do you believe in the curse, Nate?
Oh, God. What is the curse of Croy?
I don't know. I don't want to find out, actually. All right. We have one from @Familia_John. He says, I say we bring in Trent Richardson for short yardage situations. If we can help Claiborne, then why not give Trent a shot? I think we have a great chance for him to succeed. 11 touchdowns to rookie year.
I hate to say it this way, but it's not like Claiborne was this awful football player that just had no idea what he was doing. Claiborne was a good football player before he came to Atlanta. His issue was he kept getting injured. Now he's in a role that allows him to play even better than he did. The problem with Trent Richardson is he has no vision.
Yeah, with Trent Richardson, Oakland kind of was his last stop to prove that he belonged in the NFL. The fact that he couldn't even make it to the final roster kind of tells you something. I mean, Oakland, really doesn't have a great group of running backs to begin with. Latavius Murray and Roy Halou are not bad or anything, but you're not sitting there saying, oh man, they're so stacked at that running back position. So the fact that Richardson didn't really do anything, basically he got a 12-yard run, and everybody was like, oh my God, Trent Richardson looks good. And it's like, not really. It was a mediocre run. Yeah, Trent Richardson's done in the NFL, I think. if he's going to play football, it's going to be with the CFL or something like that. I hope he got his degree at Alabama. He's going to need it now. Nate, you have any thoughts on Trent Richardson?
He might have a future as a commentator, not as an NFL player.
Have you heard him speak? No, he doesn't.
Oh, man. Well, there's that. I try to give him a shot.
Sorry, I just destroyed the kid's dream.
I understand.
Okay. Cookie by Nature asks, will the Falcons sign a guard, or will the Falcons sign any guard help or just stand pat?
I don't know. I hope they sign Jake Long. I think Jake Long, if they sign him, is a guard. I don't think it's a tackle.
I don't expect him to stand pat, but whether they sign a center or a guard, Lemuel Jean-Pierre or something like that, maybe. Yeah, I expect them to do something. Nate, what are your thoughts on the Falcons signing a particular offensive lineman?
I think they will. I just don't know what position. It's really hard to call.
Okay. All right. Jalen Muhammad asks, I know it's too early for these cuts, but anybody who we could use that's been cut so far?
Wait, what was that? You used that? Not really. This is way too early. Maybe Phil Taylor is a backup nose tackle, but that's about it.
I'm on that Toby Johnson bandwagon, the nose tackle for the Titans, who absolutely obliterated our third-string offensive line in our first preseason game. We need a good backup nose tackle. He's better than Joey Ojeda. Go out, get Toby Johnson. That's all I got. Nate, any cuts you've seen so far that you're like, maybe the Falcons should pick up that guy?
Not any currently at the moment.
Yeah, that happens with the first one. They usually don't cut anybody really that good. All right, so we got another one from Evan Birchfield. He says, any of the first cuts you're surprised to see?
No.
I was only mildly surprised to see Herring and Meredith cut, just because I thought they would keep them so they wouldn't have to play guys like Hagan that last game, and I think they might have to play some of those guys just so they can keep some of these D tackles in and out of the rotation. But that wasn't like a huge surprise, but it was just like, oh, I thought they would make it to the last game. Nate, any surprises for you with the first cuts? Okay. All right, we've got another one from Evan Birchfield. He asks, are you surprised to see Yates still on the team?
Not really. They're going to give him a shot at that third string spot. I wish they would have cut him, but I'm not surprised to see him still there.
Not a surprise. I predicted him to get cut, but I guess he showed enough in that Dolphins game. He had a couple of decent plays. But they were like, hey, he played better, so we'll give you another shot. But he'll get cut, Friday or Saturday or whatever. Nate, you surprised to see Yates stick around?
I just want him cut, basically.
All right. Well, there you have it. Big Boy Brewski asks, to all three of you, if you were the GM, what three players would you sign that's available?
Quarterback Connor Shaw. I would sign, let's see, who else got cut? I would sign Robert Lester, safety. And then, oh, never mind. And then Victor Butler.
I'll go with Toby Johnson, center with tackle. Robert Lester, I'll go with that too. And Jake Long, I guess. Nate, can you put on your GM hat and pick out 3 guys that you would like to see signed, or have you not been paying that much attention?
I probably would agree with you guys on Lester and Jake Long. I'm probably going to throw a surprise in there, just considering how the secondaries look. I might would give him a shot if he was still available at Tim Jennings, just because our secondary has been so questionable so far. That's probably my 3.
Okay. All right. We got another one from Evan Birchfield. What's one player on the team you each think will impress the most this season?
Ooh, Adrian Clayton. That man's going to get 8 sacks on that 3 technique spot and make us have vivid memories of Rob Swan.
I'll go with Ricardo Allen just because he's impressed me the most this preseason. Nate, you got any guy that you think is going to impress the most this season?
Probably Claiborne from what we've seen so far this year. I'm really impressed with him.
I do want to blow the wind real quick. Aaron, I did say that Warlord was a lot better in the schemes.
You did.
And if he can continue what he's doing in the preseason throughout the season, he could potentially be a Pro Bowl linebacker.
I feel like I should say no, but I'll let you have the chance.
I feel like you would say no just because you wouldn't want me to win this thing.
That's probably true. All right. So we got another one from Evan. How is this preseason going compared to what you initially thought? Good? Bad?
I mean, about as I expected. You knew there was going to be one game where they just kind of shit the bed. You knew there was going to be one game where everything was great. And you knew there was going to be one game where it was like, yeah, they did all right, and then still lost.
I had no expectations for this preseason, to be honest with you. I was an open book. My main thing is I don't know what this team is. I'm ready to learn, so I didn't really go into anything with the expectations. So it's been fine to me. Other than that offensive line from last week, got no complaints. What about you, Nate?
Like you, Aaron, I came in with no expectations with a new coach and everything in place. It's hard to really determine what we're gonna. We were so used to seeing, like Scott said, that one great game to get everybody excited. The next game, you're just like, man, what in the world we looking like out here? And then I was so used to the Smitty way, so now I'm just trying to learn what we're gonna see on the Quinn. It's really kind of hard to determine. So I'm with you. I had no expectations going into this preseason.
Yeah, the Smitty way was starters look good for a series, and then the backups are terrible for 3 quarters.
Oh man.
We had one game like that, but not the rest. All right, Evan Birchfield asked another question. He said, any matchups you want to see in the Ravens game?
You already asked that one.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Arthur Brown. Yeah, let's see what he can do. All right. Got another one from Evan. He says, O-line starters seem to be changing by the day. What should our week 1 O-line be?
Left tackle, Jake Matthews. Left guard, either Jake Long or John Osimoa. Center, Joe Holland. Right guard, Chris Chester. Right tackle, Aaron Trader.
Yeah, I can't really disagree there. Based off of what I think the guys should be, I think, yeah, you probably switch. I probably put Chester on the left side and Osimo on the right side. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be that. So I guess it's going to be whatever the coaches think it should be. Nate, what are your thoughts on what the offensive line should be?
I agree with Scott. I don't think I can make it better. I think that's the best 5 linemen we have on the team right now. So I think those should be the starting 5 we going.
Yeah. All right. Vinny Falcon asks, is a trade option worth exploring to shore up the offensive line? Because no offensive line equals no offense.
Only if you get the equivalent of John Osimoa, but for a zone blocking team.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, if there's a swing tackle worth it, and you can give up like a conditional 7th-round pick, or you can trade, I don't know, someone on the back end of the roster for him, and I think that's worth it, but, I don't necessarily think anything can be willing to give us good offensive linemen for free. Nate, what are your thoughts on trading for an offensive lineman?
Yeah, it's gonna kind of be hard, like you said. It would be the conditional pick. I don't see it happening.
Okay. Evan Birchfield asked another offensive line question. Why do you think they kept Matt Ryan in the game even after seeing the offensive line, primarily Stone, failing?
Because they wanted to see how he would react to a horrible situation on the road with a bad offensive line with the weapons he has. AKA without Roddy, without Julio to bail him out.
There you go. I got nothing else to add. Yeah, that's right. Nate, you feel differently?
No, Scott said it perfect.
All right. Vinny Falcon asks, how is Asamoah not a scheme fit if others can't protect Ryan or open run them?
He is a scheme fit. That's the issue. He's not as quick as Coach Shanahan wants him to be, but at a certain point, who cares? He's quick enough to play in this game. He looks fine as a run blocker in this game. His issue is that he's not the fastest offensive lineman. He's a fucking offensive lineman. He's not going to be fast.
Yeah, I mean, he is a scheme fit, but it's very clear that the coaches want to go in a different direction. Stone and Chester are the 2 most mobile offensive linemen they have on the team, so it's not a coincidence that they're taking the first experienced snaps for most of the summer. I guess, it's just kind of, that's their preference. Person's being coached by Chris Morgan. I guess that's why he's the top of the roster. So it's one of those things where I think the Falcons made a decision earlier this month that they were planning on moving on from John Osimoa. And even though all the stuff that's happened over the last couple of days probably should have changed their mind, I don't think it has. So I think they'll end up trading them in the next few days, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'm wrong. Nate, what are your thoughts on the whole situation with Osimoa?
I also think it's a scheme fit because I'm really shocked because I'm a big fan of Osimoa, but that may not have been the direction that Dan Quinn wanted to go into because, he came under Mike Smith, so I guess we just have to see how it plays out. But I'm myself pretty shocked because I'm a big fan of Osimoa, and I love how he played last season for us. So hopefully it works out for the best.
Okay. All right, guys. Last question from Falcoholic DW. Piggy or Denise?
As Dave Chappelle says, I don't fuck with puppets.
I'm a Denise man myself.
I'm sorry, Miss Piggy. I gotta go with Denise.
There you go. You're the man, Kermit. All right, guys, that's our show this week. We want to thank Nate for being on with us. His first appearance on this show probably won't be his last. You can check out Nate on Twitter at ATL Sports Nate. He still is writing. He's still writing for the Falcoholic sometimes, right, Nate?
I do.
And you can check out his new blog, DBN Fanatics. It's dbnfanatics.blogspot.com. And a lot of good writers on that. Yeah, so and Scott and I are on Twitter at FalcFans. Scott is at Karasik PFS. Follow the show at Falcons PFC. Use the hashtag Falcons Mailbag. Nate, you got anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
Oh no, just wanted to thank you guys for letting me come on the show and look forward to coming back on it this season and continue my winning streak.
There you go. All right, Nate. That's it, everybody. See you next week.